What do you think of the new decor? Pretty exciting, huh? Makes it feel like a totally different room, right? How about none of the above? Just hurry up and get this started. Oh, you've got spunk. I like that. Alright, let's get this party started. Go find the seat with your name on it, you guys. And once again, the curtain rose on. The trial for life and the judgment of death, deception in life and treachery in death, betrayal for life and a betrayal for death, the riddles of life and the mystery of death, justification for life and rationalization of death, faith in life and trust in death, the class trial to live or the class trial to die. Yeah, totally saving. Alright. Let's see here. Huh? I've got enough to go in fully equipped, so that's nice. Let's start off with a simple explanation. You guys vote to determine the trial's outcome. Finger the true villain and the only the villain gets punished, but make the wrong accusation and everyone else gets punished, leaving your deceiver to graduate free and clear. Let's see, first on the agenda, how about we start things off with the murder weapon. Looks like my first task is to identify the weapon that killed Fujisaki. The blow to her head with a dumbbell. How was that not? Oh, come on. I'm so bad at these. I should just let these go through once and then go back. Wasn't the weapon used to kill her the dumbbell we found at the crime scene? Not only was there blood on it, but there wasn't anything else at the scene that could have done that to her. Also, the wound on the victim's head matches the shape of the dumbbell. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's no room for questions. You examined her wound? Gross. I'll take the floor from here and change the subject to that of the murderer. Of course, I've already established who did it. What? For real? Responsible for Fujisaki's murder is the homicidal maniac genocider Shue. Did he really kill her? A non-stop debate. New elements added. Would you like to see a tutorial? Non-stop debate is non-stop debate. Nailed it! Good job! Yeah! Yeah, you're right. I'm not trying to argue a point. I'm trying to, or augment someone's point. Right. I'm trying to counter it. Okay. Right. There's a file in the library's archives. A top-secret police file documenting all the genocider Shuei's murders. Hold on. Why the hell would something like that be in the archives? I don't feel like explaining. In any case, the file contains highly detailed reports of genocider Shuei's murders. From this, we learn there are two distinguishing features to genocider Shuei's crimes. One, he always leaves a message written in blood at the crime scene. Boobalicious fever. Bloodbath fever. What matters, though, though, is the other distinguishing feature, as this information has not been made public. It hasn't been made public? You tell them. Crucified. Apparently, Genocider Shuei crucifies all his victims. Aside from Genocider Shuei himself, only those of the upper echelon of the police know about it. And yet, Fujisaki was indeed crucified. That begs the question, how did the culprit learn information only the police and Genocider Shuei knew? There's only one possible explanation. That the culprit is Genocider Shuei. You're shitting me. Does that mean that someone here is Genocider Shuei? Fukawa. Huh? Genocider Shuei's true identity is Fukawa. No way! Hold on a second. Fukawa can't stand the sight of blood. I never heard of a serial killer who's afraid of blood. She both is and isn't Genocider Shuei. There's your answer. You're telling riddles now. Just get to the point, dude. He's right. It's kind of like a riddle, but I feel like I understand what Togami means by she both is and isn't. He's saying there's more than one of her, right? What? I'm looking for a P. It's a P! Personality disorder. What? Isn't it dissociative identity? I bet it's identity. I went with personality instead of identity. Short-term memory loss. I don't think I should still get an A for that. That's very generous. It was an acronym, man. Because Genocider Shuei has dissociative identity disorder. I thought it was dissociative personality disorder. Huh? That's what it said in Genocider Shuei's case file. We hypothesized the suspect has a severe case of dissociative identity disorder. But that doesn't mean Master Fukawa. Oh, but it does. Her strange behavior after seeing the body suggests exactly that. She has multiple personalities. But what was about Fukawa's behavior that would indicate that she had DID? Speech patterns. You mean the way her speech pattern changed? Think back to what happened when she passed out and then woke up again. She was acting rather peculiar, yes. Her characteristic, morose diction had vanished. Don't characterize me like that. Also, after she regained consciousness, she had no problem looking at Fujisaki's corpse. In other words, one personality that's afraid of the blood and the one that isn't both reside within you. Then how do you explain Fukawa's barricading herself in a room in fear of Genocider? She didn't lock herself in to prevent someone on the outside from entering, but to prevent someone on the inside from getting out. Fukawa was terrified of letting the homicidal maniac inside her kill someone. Why? Yeah. Why do you think you know all that? You misunderstand. Her why doesn't mean why do you know, but why did you tell? Last night, just before Monokuma's little incentive charade, she and I had an unusual conversation, and there she revealed something absolutely fascinating to me, that a serial killer dwells within her and she lives in constant fear of its outburst. And that is what caused her to become so gloomy and withdrawn. Isn't that right? That's not true, is it, Fukuwa? You said to. You said you wouldn't say anything. Huh? You promised. Was that all a lie? You got the wrong idea. What did you think would come of unloading your misery on someone who never asked? This isn't some romance novel. This is the real world. Besides, you broke your promise first. I seem to recall you saying something to the effect of, no matter what happens, I will not allow a genocider to kill anyone as long as we are here. But despite that... I'm so sorry I couldn't keep our promise. You said if I kept my promise, you'd go out with me. That's why I made the promise. Once again, you got the wrong idea. In any event, you were unable to keep your promise. Was the thrill of murder too much for you to resist? I tried. I did everything I could to hold her back. Unfortunately, it seems trying wasn't good enough. You're horrible. Alright, well, that's enough preamble. We'll get the rest of the story straight soon from the horse's mouth. Fukuwa's body bent backwards, farther and farther, until she fell over, landing with a hard thud the next moment. You mean it's my turn to play? What? Guess the cat's out of the bag. What else? What can you do? Super duper high school homicidal maniac genocider Shue here. Real name's Fukuwa, but screw that. What the hell? What's gotten into you? What's the matter if I've got multiple personalities? What's it matter if one of them's a serial killer? Look, the other way, there's just some minor character flaws. Her energy's through the roof. A sound murderer resides in a sound mind and body. I can hardly believe how different they are. Yes, there are two sides to everything in the world. Just as there are 9 tails behind every 9 heads, and just as there is a lie behind every truth. Behind Little Miss Gloomy is a gaiety brighter than the sun? What? Is this genocider Shue, the homicidal maniac? This is completely outrageous. Excuse me, Miss Genocider Shue, may I ask you a question? Yes? There have been rumors going around that you might be the puppet master. What do you have to say to that? Most certainly, I am the one, the only, the puppet master. Just kidding. So, you're not? Of course she's not. Don't go put me on the same level as that psycho. Though, you know what I've noticed recently? The cops out there and the people too are pretty helpless. I mean, look. We'll let this doofus of a serial killer run wild. I know I'm not innocent, but come on, that's life. Living is, in a sense, the act of hurting others. People hurt others so they can live, and they live so they can be hurt. Oh, they live so they can hurt. Not wahahaha. I'm sure you're all convinced now that Fujisaki was murdered by this homicidal maniac. Given she even has motive, there's no doubt about it. A motive? You remember what Monokuma said to us yesterday? That if someone hadn't graduated within 24 hours, he would reveal everyone's secrets. Now, suppose Fukuwa's shameful memory or deep dark secret was that she was genocider Shue. If that information came to light, it would undoubtedly be her ruin. In short, her motive was that she did not want her secret revealed no matter what the cost. I see. Too bad though, I didn't do it. Huh? I can't imagine anyone other than a homicidal maniac could kill someone in such a brutal fashion. Sorry, hun, but that's the truth. And who do you expect to believe you? Yeah, who would trust a serial killer? They're probably right. I want to agree, but something's not right. Something doesn't feel right. I should just hear her out, get her side of the story in more detail. I didn't kill her. You said their MOs were identical, but is that really true? I actually think there are some differences between Genocider Shuei's past murders and Fujisaki's murder. Huh? Like what? Tisk tisk. Can't tell? Quiet in the peanut gallery, I'll tell you what he's talking about. When I do it with passion and conviction. So, as any artisan would be, I'm very particular about how I go about my craft. I'm particular the same way a renowned ramen shop is particular about its broth and noodles and toppings. But Fujisaki's murderer is like that shop started selling packs of instant ramen. This is most certainly not my work. Allow me to try that again. There are two major differences between Fujisaki's murder and Genocider Shuei's past murders. The first major difference comes from the victims' photos in the Genocider Shuei case file, in particular, their stomachs and necks. So the discrepancy is because of death. Because of death. All of Genocider Shuei's previous victims were killed in exactly the same way. Based on information in the case file, they were murdered using scissors. That's what I see what you're saying now. On the other hand, Fujisaki died of blunt force trauma to the head. You have a point. 'Tis indeed a disparity. Weird, isn't it? That a serial killer known for her consistent MO would change things up just this once. But that's not all. There's one other major discrepancy. If the bloody calling card is the braised pork of my craft, then crucifixion is the boiled egg. Dude, can we please drop the ramen analogy? So, what you're trying to say is that the second inconsistency is in the crucifixion. Right. The second discrepancy in the crucifixion. In the Genocider Shuei file photos, her victims had their hands pierced, which it means the difference is what she uses? Do you remember what was used to hang Fujisaki's body? Her hands were bound to the equipment with cord, which is how her crucifixion was achieved. And what of it? In Genocider Shuei's murders, the crucifixion were carried out using extremely sharp scissors. Listen up, I kill and I crucify using my very own handmade Genoscissors? I'm an artisan. I'm picky about my tools. Plus. You said there were only two differences. Ma, but that's not right. But meh, what do you mean? Are you listening? Ma, there's one more difference. Huh? What? You didn't notice? There's a certain rule I follow to choose my victims. A rule? It's easy as pie to see why I wouldn't have killed Babyface if you can figure out my rule. Huh. So in other words, Genocider Shuei follows a rule when choosing her victims, and Fujisaki doesn't meet her qualifications. From her victims' names, it's pretty safe to assume that they all have one thing in common that excludes Fujisaki. Is it because Fujisaki is female, and Bingo was his name? What do you mean, dude? There's a pattern to the victims of the Genocider Shuei murders. They're all men. They're all dudes? Yes, I do it with passion and conviction, but only with flaming hot hunks of man. Ha! I said it. How embarrassing. What the hell? I can't help it. I'm a slasher. I crave the very same hunk-on-hunk action Little Miss Gloomy, so whatever. Pure, unadulterated, steaming hot man/man. You wouldn't kill Fujisaki because she's female and therefore not hot? That's like a ramen chef serving you spaghetti. They both got noodles. It's still fucked up. It's a line I wouldn't cross because I have passion and conviction. My perfectionism is what makes me me. You've made your taste and priorities abundantly clear, but that's all that they are, taste priorities. But it all comes crashing down when you're forced to commit a murder in order to survive. Quit your yapping, you sword loser. Sword loser? When I kill, it ain't for some lame-ass reason like saving my own skin. And even if there was some situation where I had to kill someone else to save myself, I sure as hell wouldn't crucify him and leave no bloody writing. Too much work and a dead giveaway. You have a very good point. And anyway, no matter what the circumstances, my trusty Jenna scissors are a must-have. Like hell, I'm going to use some heavy-ass dumbbell. Perchance, there was no adequate scissors at hand, so you substituted them for a nearby dumbbell? Adequate scissors? I don't use just any old adequate scissors. I use my own earth-shakingly fabulous handmade Jenna scissors. That's still a hard word to say. Which are even less likely to find here, dude. Oh, really? Dun, dun, dun. You're fully equipped? I'm ready to do it anytime, anywhere. You still think I'd use that rope and dumbbell instead of these babies, which I've got experience with? I wouldn't, now would I? Suckers. And anyway, I don't even know how to tie a knot, so I couldn't have used that rope. I have no idea what's going on anymore. Is the serial killer seriously not the killer? But still, what about the crucifixion? That ain't public knowledge. That is the reason we decided it wasn't a copycat. But the real genocider Shue, hold on a second. There is someone who could have imitated genocider Shue's modus operandi. I mean, the only person I can is this guy. Nailed it. Nobody else makes any sense. You could have done it. Couldn't you, Takami? You're in a position where you can readily access secret government documents and internal police files. On top of that, you told me you used to spend a lot of time going over the genocider Shue case files. So you're suggesting Takami is the murderer? Then Takami insisted on genocider Shue being the culprit. Was because he wanted to help place the blame for her crimes on her. So the person who manipulated the scene to make it look like I did it was the gorgeous man in the glasses here? That's hot. What do you have to say to these crimes, Takami? I see. So you suspect me. Then tell me this. When did you first begin to suspect me? Thinking back on it now, just before we discovered Fujisaki's body, you did something I think was a little peculiar. That changing room over there is suspicious. Very suspicious. Wouldn't you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It doesn't look like anyone's checked the changing rooms yet. Let's take a look in the women's first. You suggested we go to the women's changing room first, didn't you, Takami? But being a guy, you're saying my first instinct should have been to search the men's changing room? The victim, Fujisaki, is female. That's why I chose the women's changing room, nothing more. That makes perfect sense to me. No, actually, it doesn't make sense. Then why don't you tell us what doesn't make sense? There's a glaring contradiction in what he just said. I have to point it out.